Did you know that the average person generates over 4 pounds of trash every day and about 1.5 tons of solid waste per year? It's a staggering truth and a grim reminder of the waste crisis we're currently facing. Let's talk numbers for a moment. Imagine a city of 1 million people. Each day, that city alone would produce 4 million pounds of trash. That's the weight of over 1,000 cars. In a single year, that same city would generate an incredible 1.5 million tons of solid waste. And that's just one city. Multiply that by the thousands of cities across the globe, and you can begin to grasp the enormity of the problem. Now consider where all that waste ends up. The vast majority finds its way into landfills, these massive pits of waste that are fast becoming the mountains of our time. But these aren't just ugly blots on the landscape. Landfills generate harmful gases like methane, a potent greenhouse gas that contributes significantly to climate change. And let's not forget the leachate, the toxic liquid that seeps out and contaminates our groundwater. But the problem doesn't stop on land. A significant portion of our waste, particularly plastic, ends up in our oceans. It's estimated that there are over 5 trillion pieces of plastic floating in our oceans right now, wreaking havoc on marine life. From tiny microplastics that end up in the food chain to large debris that entangle and kill marine animals, the impact is devastating. And it's not just marine life that suffers. Plastic waste on our beaches and in our waters affects tourism, fishing, and even our own health. It's a vicious cycle, and we're all caught up in it. The waste crisis is a global problem, and it's escalating at an alarming rate. We're producing more waste than we can manage, and it's causing serious harm to our planet and its inhabitants. It's a serious problem that we cannot ignore anymore. So, what can we do about this escalating waste problem? The answer lies in effective waste management. A system that goes beyond just collecting and disposing of waste. It includes actions that prevent waste generation, reduce its amount, or change its nature to minimize its impact on the environment. Consider waste segregation. By separating different types of waste, we can ensure that recyclable materials are not lost in landfills, but are instead processed and reused. Recycling not only conserves natural resources, but it also reduces the energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions associated with extracting and processing new materials. Let's not forget about composting. Organic waste, like food scraps and yard trimmings, can be turned into nutrient-rich compost that improves soil health, reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers. These practices, when embraced collectively, can significantly cut down the volume of waste that ends up in our landfills and oceans. Waste management is not just the responsibility of the government or waste management companies, but of each and every one of us. But how can one person make a difference, you might ask? Well, let's dive into that. Every action we take, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect on our environment. Imagine if each of us decided to use reusable shopping bags instead of plastic ones. This simple switch could save millions of bags from entering our landfills each year, and that's just one household. What about reducing single-use plastic? That takeaway coffee cup, the plastic cutlery, that bottle of water, each item adds up. By choosing to bring our own reusable alternatives, we can significantly cut down on the amount of plastic waste generated daily. And then there's composting kitchen waste. By turning our fruit peels, vegetable scraps, and coffee grounds into nutrient-rich compost, we not only reduce the amount of waste going to landfills, but also create a natural fertilizer for our plants. So, remember, every small action can have a big impact when we all do our part. So, we've discussed the problem, the importance of waste management, and the power of individual action. What's next? Well, let's quickly recap. Our world is drowning in waste, and it's a crisis we can no longer ignore. Waste management has a pivotal role to play in tackling this issue. It's not just about the big corporations and governments, it's also about you and me. Every single one of us can make a significant difference. We've talked about the power of individual action, Remember, every piece of trash you recycle, every product you choose to reuse, every time you opt for a sustainable alternative, you're not just making a small change, you're contributing to a massive global movement. So, what's the call to action? It's simple. Practice waste management in your daily life. Recycle, reuse, reduce. Let's build a cleaner, healthier world for ourselves and future generations. Remember, the change starts with you. Let's make a difference, one piece of trash at a time.